Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you.
Hello, and welcome to Frontline Rejects. If you're a returning viewer, glad to see you here again. If you're a new viewer, we're very happy to have you joining us. First things first, if you could help us out and hit that like or subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Now that that's taken care of, let's get into some expansion testing. Today we're excited to be testing a very special round. It's the first time we featured it, but it certainly won't be the last. The Nosler Partition is the bullet which Nosler describes as the cornerstone upon which the entire company was founded in 1948. It's the granddaddy FUD master of modern hunting bullets. Now what makes the Partition special is the copper partition between the front and rear halves of the bullet. This allows the jacket to retain the rear half of the lead core upon expansion, while the front half mushrooms and transfers massive amount of energy to the target. Today, we'll be testing from 1 to 500 yards through our Bergara B14 HMR in 300 Win Mag, which will really be a test of whether or not this cartridge from the 60s can propel this bullet from the 40s back into relevance. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Getter at Frontline Reject or on Gab at Frontline Rejects, or drop us an email at frontlinerejects@gmail.com. Alright, spotter's on, shooter fire when ready. So what's your prediction, man?
My prediction is you're gonna send water everywhere.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fucking crystal geyser for real, huh?
Yeah, crystal geyser. Just don't choke. Don't choke.
Mom's spaghetti and all that.
Yeah. You fucking choked, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's about par for the course. Alright, spotter's on. Hey man, you hear about J-Lo?
Oh, what's up, J-Lo?
I heard J-Lo died.
Oh, fuck.
We lost J-Lo, homie.
You lost fucking J-Lo?
Bring us home, Carl. Fucking hope so, dude. Lost the target. I want to just start out mentioning that while the 1 and 200 yard ranges were very pleasant, the 3 and 5 were shot on another day, which was downright frigid. It was around 12 with wind chill, and we were out testing 3 different bullets that day, so we'd been out in it for quite a while, and were about froze to the bone. Not that I'm complaining or anything. On a more relevant note, on screen we have the impacts from all 5 ranges fired, and upon initial inspection we see that the 1, 3, and 5 are similar, as is the 2 and 4. At 100 we have textbook performance, the lead in the front half of the projectile separated upon impact, with the jacket retaining the rear section of lead and expanding beautifully. At the 200 we have a similar result. The rear section of lead was retained, while in this case the front half broke apart upon impact. The 300 is very similar to the 100, the only difference being the petals on the jacket and a millimeter or two higher up the shank than at the 1. The 400 is similar to the 2. Again, we have retention of the rear lead section and mushrooming of the front, but not as clean expansion as the 1, 3, or 5, and the lead did fragment. The 500 is, as we noticed earlier, very similar to the 1 and 300 yard ranges, although at this range we can see that the expansion does occur much higher up the shank. Looking at our data, we have numerical results which mimic our images. At 1, 3, and 5, very similar amounts of expansion, and at 2 and 4, similar expansion with the wider expansion evidenced here as a result of the jackets not peeling back as completely as at the 1, 3, and 5. Weight retention is very consistent, with the only exception being the 500-yard impact, which is to be expected as the bullet sheds velocity. But the 1 through 4 all retained weight within 10 grains of each other, and that is, I think, a direct result of the Partition's unique construction. At 500, although we got similar expansion to the 1 and 3, the velocity was just low enough to keep the front half from disintegrating as much as at the prior ranges. We had 74% average weight retention, and Nosler states, quote, "The enclosed rear core retains more than 2/3 of the original bullet weight for deep penetration," end quote. This was something we found to be true when recovering the projectiles from the water jugs. The bullets would cause catastrophic damage to the first 2 rows of jugs, then penetrate through to about the 6th row. As a side note, we had planned to film the damage inspection of the 3 through 500-yard ranges, but it was cold enough that our fingers were freezing digging through the water jugs, and we were trying to get through testing in an expedient manner. So we decided to shelve that for another day and another video. Overall expansion was 1.99, or basically 2 times original diameter, which is very impressive. The Nosler Partition performed very well in our testing, and I wouldn't hesitate to take this bullet hunting for pretty much any large game on the North American continent. That being said, I don't think it would be my first choice. Just for component bullets, both MSRP and street price are well over $1 per bullet, which I think is a bit much compared to other modern offerings. We have tested the normal Oryx on this channel in a prior video. While I hesitate to directly compare the 2 bullets' results, as we didn't use the same exact loading and didn't run them in the same conditions, the Oryxes did have an average expansion of 3 times their original size, compared to 2 with the Partition. They also had 90% weight retention compared to 75%, and the Partitions and Oryxes have a similar soft point profile. So the Oryx wins out in terms of performance, in my opinion, and in price, which is a fact, because I paid well under $1 per bullet out the door for the Oryxes. The Partition is a great bullet, but I think it suffers a bit from its own success. It really did help to pave the way for modern hunting bullets, and even though it's almost 75 years old, it is a solid choice for the hunter of today. But due to its success, the price has climbed to a point which I think will inevitably only help to push consumers towards more affordable, bonded core options, especially those hunting at longer ranges who need a higher BC than the Partition can offer. The Partition is still relevant and has the potential to be for a very long time. For a lead core bullet, it does transfer energy well, and it does penetrate very well. We're looking forward to testing it in some other chamberings, some with narrower diameters and in others with lower velocities. And we hope that you'll join us then. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.